Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning. Or wait, it's the afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Yeah, sounds like they got someone trimming trees just across the street, so sorry if that gets a little annoying. Nothing I can really do about that, so apologize. Hold on one second. I want to get the link to our stream. No, just looking for our live stream right now, but cannot. There it is. Really far down the page. Gotcha. I want to grab that link, copy. Perfect. Good morning, Xander, or good afternoon, Xander. All right, guys. So yeah, basically, pretty cool stuff, pretty good stuff this morning. As you can see in the title of today's video, pretty much the title. You can see stock market news narratives, VIX in sell operation. That's why market bouncing. All right, so let's take a quick peek at the SPY here. Again, sorry if that's annoying. My apologies. So yeah, there's your SPY. All right, so market's getting ripped. It's getting gripped. Yeah, I mean, all good. So this is because we're kind of entering some selling operations on the VIX, which basically means bounce the market. So whenever I'm on streamer and chat, there's a lot of times a couple things you might hear me talk about, and that's either going to be a buy operation on the market, or a sell operation on the market. And I commonly use the terminology, the wording, or the phrasing that the market is not positive, or you're not long biased the market until the market enters an uptrend. Though, if the market always bottoms before it enters an uptrend. So there's a lot of bottom bouncing and kind of gains to be had, or movement on the upside prior to uptrend starting, right? So something that we oftentimes will do is we will watch the volatility index. And so today's a scenario where we haven't actually entered a long buy signal buying operation on the S&P 500, but we did enter a selling operation on the volatility index today. So this creates an environment and a scenario today where we look at the market's oversold, but it's not uptrending. It's not in a buying operation. But is there something else that we may be able to use and look at and help us determine that there may be a bounce, or maybe there may be long pressure back up on the market, a long move, though we're not actually in a buying operation? And yes, in fact, there is. Today, it was the volatility index. Today, the volatility index had started to slightly give up some of its buying operation. So the VIX has gone in a buy operation, which helped send the market down over the past week and a half, let's call it. And then just today alone, we started getting some of the buying operation on the VIX to fall apart, which means arguably new selling operations or pulling back on the VIX. And as a result, we saw the start of the morning start with a nice long press, followed by a nice dip long. So kind of what I saw today was, kind of the two short-term environment breakdowns and selling operations kind of kickstart a little bit on the volatility index, which I think played a big role in helping juice the market to the long side today into the open, and then ultimately the last dip in the market we just saw. So that was a big story for today for us as far as in the private room, right? Again, right now my business partner Brandon, praying for the brother. He's going through surgery right now, so it's just kind of one man team for me over in our Discord and private Zoom meetings this morning. But that was kind of the narrative we were going off of today. Was we're not extremely bearish the market today. We're kind of leaning more on the long, especially if we trigger some downside metrics on the volatility index. So today was kind of like, we're kind of like on the fence to a degree. It's like, well, there is a need for maybe some pulling back still, but at the same time, we're just too close to triggering potential selling operations or sell metrics on the VIX that we don't want to be too bearish right now. We kind of want to lean on the VIX today and see if it gives us some breakdowns and some selling operations, and if so, we should probably look to press the markets long. So that was kind of the main objective for us leading into today's morning, as far as forecasting and analysis went for everyone. And then just the last bounce in the market was kind of the last bit of the forecast, at least that we got to mention, which was just, hey guys, we're starting another kind of selling operation in the micro on the VIX. So basically, it's gonna press the market. So we've taken the market back to highs after a short-term selling operation has taken away on the VIX. There's more to it than that as far as the VIX and stuff goes, but that's where we'll kind of leave that. We also noticed quite a few stocks today, which helped with today's movement on both the long side and the short side, and now probably back to the long side. So there was a lot of triggering going on today, a lot of triggering, if you may. So again, there was a lot of today's story had to do with the volatility index and a handful of stocks that had some triggers, if you ask me. So we'll touch on a little bit of all this as well. Let's see. Nice hat, Connor. Nice. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. Yeah. So that was cool. We even went over some bond stuff, but we won't get to that here. So, right now the narrative for the market. Yeah. So I guess the narrative that you guys should have in your mind right now for the market and how you apply that to if you guys are doing some short-term trading or you're doing some long-term stuff. I mean, however you choose to apply the information that's provided here is entirely up to you. But we the narrative should pretty much be the stock market is still bearish. I know you're looking at things going up today and you're like, how is it bearish? Again, there's a difference between oversold bouncing, long, and trend bearish. So we're in a narrative and a scenario in the market where markets are oversold, bouncing in a macro downtrend. Okay? Whether or not the current bounce leads to the start of a new buying operation is still yet to unfold and be decided. I could sit here and say, hey guys, we're going to go into a buying operation. But then if we don't, I look like an idiot. All right? So I want to try our best to keep everyone in the right narrative and the right forecast, which is we are in oversold bounce off of quite a few supports, ranging from Fibonacci to volume weighted average prices to a couple other things. But bottom line is there's many reasons for oversold bouncing as far as just support goes. There is no uptrend start in the macro, but there is failed buying operations on the VIX and starts of potentially new selling operations on the VIX. So again, you have oversold market conditions coupled with good supports, coupled with selling operations starting on the volatility index. So those three things are metrics to help with the bounce. And if these metrics are strong enough to send the bounce to positive trend, then at that point we may consider and change our narrative to long bias market. Okay, so we're kind of in the early stages. You're bouncing. Does it develop to a new uptrend signaling? Potentially. But again, we're just not going to use that type of phrasing because right now it just appears a little too soon / incorrect. Okay. Where is this? It's over here. Dip. All right. Dippy dippy. Damn, people be losing their password all the time. Okay. So, let's take this back. Yeah, so again, like for example, today, we're getting some back test movement. Well, I think it actually. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, is that yesterday? Yeah. Anyways, so like Apple. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Apple today, just because Apple just kind of bounced with the market as when markets come back. Nvidia's pretty important to watch here. Again, that's decently. I'll just say Nvidia. That one you want to watch for the moment. Microsoft, you want to. I mean, they're all important, but Nvidia specifically here. Google not so much. Amazon decently important. It's kind of been playing games though. I think Netflix is another one. Yeah, Netflix, another decently important one. Basically, just looking at things that are at trigger levels. So, also, we did release some new targets on Bitcoin. So, just an FYI, new targets on Bitcoin right now are targeting back to 56,000 to 57,326. We talked probably a bit about this on Friday. I don't know, but yeah. So we got some new targets there, and basically, and so on and so forth. Arguably back into 58,000 to 59,000. SPY. Yeah, let's go back to here. Oh yeah. So looking at the SPY too. So I know some of you guys maybe were with us on stream last week, maybe not. But if you do go back to our streams on Friday, we talked about this being support. We even put a title on the screen about that being support. Mind you, we did talk about some other downside metrics. I think we talked about the SPY as low as like 543 or something. Hold on. I don't remember. Yeah, we did talk about downside targets on the SPY as low as 534. That being said, we were already coming into support on the NASDAQ and support on the SPY. Let me rephrase that. We have weekly support levels on the S&P or the SPY down around 534. Okay? But towards the end of the session on Friday, the NASDAQ had already hit support and the SPY had already hit some supports we were watching. But it was too soon to tell if we would get follow through on those supports until we transitioned into this week and into this day. After we've done that, obviously it's kicked off with the bounce, right? So if you kind of think about the way the markets progressed from Friday to today, the way I would read and kind of look at all this is that, end of Friday session, we've come into some dailies and some weekly support levels. Want to give it some time to digest. Hence, leading into this week and into this current new day's candle, we'll see if those supports are legit overnight we get a big gap, so clearly the daily and the weekly supports we're following got enough juice off them that the markets are respecting them to a degree. We come in, we see the VIX this morning starting some sell operations. So as far as kind of the SPY support and trend is related on the VIX, it pretty much is like, number one, we came into big support. Number two, the volatility index starts breaking down and giving selling operations. Relate that to how it should affect the market would be market long bias. So you come into support and then you have the VIX breakdown, which almost kind of confirms the idea of those supports. Now, so that was kind of what led to a lot of kind of the thesis of long bias and bouncing. And then we even had this moment where the midday we went through a pullback. That a lot of was in relationship to doing some back testing stuff and having some large players hit some selling levels. So, and we also hit our SPY long target, one of them. So again, we saw this big yank in the middle of the day today after the SPY had reached a price of 546.42. I would contribute a lot of the pullback of the SPY and the SPX and the market and what have you around 546 today. Pretty much our top today and then our pullback. I would say a lot of that pullback today was contributed because number one, I don't want to say a bunch of stocks, but some big stocks finally made it back to resistance points. And then number two, the volatility index was doing a back test long of its breakdown. So you kind of had a reason for the VIX to come back up, back test some things, which obviously would pull the market down. And then number two, at the highs today, you hit your SPX long target based off, you hit SPX long target based off Fibonacci, and you had some daily stocks hitting resistance. So it's like you had some stocks at resistance, pulling, SPX hitting target, and VIX bouncing for a back test of its breakdown. So kind of a lot of things across the board lined up to kind of create some resistance there, which in just a matter of hours has all been reversed, right? And so that's kind of the concept of micro environment analysis, and if you're doing short-term trading, understanding these things across the board and how they affect the markets and how things kind of go hand in hand. And then you can kind of get a feel for why things kind of move when they're moving, when things are getting triggered, So again, the narrative right now is we are long bounce. And honestly, I have a good feeling we're going to see the SPY. Maybe even today, maybe it's something that goes in after hours. Don't shoot the messenger, but arguably to a price of $547.83. The Fibonacci target for the SPY is 547.21. I don't see the market, not that the market couldn't go up, but again, I see reason to believe that even today into tomorrow, prices of 547.19 SPY, even maybe the 547.86 on the SPY today, we will need the VIX to keep draining out for that to happen. But as long as everything stays equal right now and kind of continues flowing with, again, obviously, if things keep going up, they're not going down. You're obviously going to hit those prices. But that's what we mean, is if everything progresses pretty smoothly and there's really no surprise shake and bake here, then, seeing prices of 547.19 on the SPY, arguably to 547.86, definitely on the table. There was something else I was about to say. Kind of forgot. Oh. Hold on, I gotta check the SPX here. Yeah, and even SPX around 5,482.98, definitely on the table. And again, that's gonna result in back testing trend on the SPY. All right. Does that mean you should just start flinging longs in the market? Sure, maybe. Not necessarily. Do as you please. But arguably, I'm trying to figure out I should adjust all this red on top. Yeah, I'll do that. I got to make some adjustments here, folks. Sorry, so... gonna do that. Thank you, Oliver. I appreciate that, my guy. Um, Hold on. I'm kind of readjusting some things here, so I need a second to use my brain. Thanks, Wilson. I appreciate that. Yeah, see, actually, if you guys hit the like button, there's a good chance that we will drop below 160. I think we're at 100. I don't even know what I'm at right now, but hold on one second. Basically, the more you guys watch the stream, the more you guys like the stream, the greater the likelihood we will be below 166,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So please hit the like button, please watch the stream, and please share it. And as a result, we'll probably lose about another 82 subscribers at least before the end of the month, if not more. So do me a favor, you hit that like button, and yeah, that's it. Okay, yes, let me finish here. So again, Amazon getting a little positivity there. You kind of got some higher low formation on Tesla. JP Morgan, that's kind of interesting. JP Morgan could arguably be getting interesting. AMD probably going to see prices of 138. Obviously, we need some things to keep progressing, but Netflix kind of interesting. AMD and Netflix. V just absolutely crushed today. Crush him, baby. All right, so I'm gonna flip some stuff here. Yeah, like right now, again, the extended trading hours formations on Nvidia, they're positive. Slight positivity on Microsoft. Google's just shit. Not looking good. Not looking good. Bitcoin juicing up there, almost to our initial. Well, I don't want to say our initial target, but again, watching Bitcoin up into 56,000, 57,326. Here's the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. So you can get this at coinglass.com. I'll send a link out there to chat if you guys want. You can take a peek at that. Definitely something you guys should keep tabs on. Gold, good old gold. Gold still in a lower low, lower high, kind of debatable. A little sketch looking, a little scotchy. Check the daily. Daily's positive. Weekly is positive. Don't need that. All right. Let me grab something here. Oh, what am I doing? I'm sorry if that noise is pretty annoying in the background. Again, I apologize. Hopefully it'll be done soon. I could even maybe adjust it a little lower. I don't know if that helps, but I could adjust it a little lower so it doesn't pick up as much background there. All right, let's check out the stock market news today, shall we? 7 minutes ago, Dow rips more than 500 points higher as markets claw back some of last week's whatever. Today, NASDAQ and S&P open higher. Open higher. Trump Something loses money, no surprise there. Why would it be anything positive? Stock market today, Dow gains over 400 points. So again, I'm reading the narratives today, and the narratives are definitely pumping the market as far as like the headlines, right? They're talking about markets are up, et cetera, et cetera. But theoretically, we're still in a selling operation on the market, right? So a lot of the reason that the markets have clawed back gains today, yes, maybe some stocks went up, and so on and so forth, but we can clearly see here on the left side of our screen some negative trend development on the VIX and some bearish signals on the VIX. So, arguably we got some algorithms that are selling the VIX, which means juice the market. So a lot of the headlines kind of missing some key information there today, but they are doing their best job to pump the market right now as far as those headlines go. Now, is that because on Friday the market sold down to weekly and daily support, so it was a good long level, and now the markets are just pumping it for a counter trend bounce? We'll see. So here's the thing: there's sometimes some unknown there, right? Is right now we got a lot of the news. They haven't really flipped bullish; they're just kind of pumping, right? So what I mean is, just based off the headlines here, if I pull this over and we just look at some of these headlines, right? It's really just talking about gains, right? Stocks putting on gains. But there's not really a narrative change, is there? There hasn't been, at least, right? It's more just stocks open higher, Dow puts on gains. Look at how cute Kathy Woods did with her smile. Of course, Trump is a terrible person, so he lost $4 billion. Dow rips more than 500 points higher. Markets are clawing back some of last week. Something, S&P, Nasdaq, Apple, Nvidia, Planter, Dow, blah 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 blah. Yep. Okay, 400 points after the worst week. Gains, Dow gains over 400. Stocks are rising. Stocks come back. So we're hearing the pump, but the headlines don't really show us a narrative change, right? Part of my belief there is because the market isn't yet in a buying operation. So arguably, we still run the risk of remaining in a sell operation, or they don't want the public fully on board with a narrative change yet until they have, essentially gotten the bags pumped, and then they'll throw it on the next extended leg. So a lot of times kind of a narrative shift can be used to further the directional push, right? So again, some slight unknowns there, can't know everything, right? But we do know for sure that they're pumping the market based off of this information, but they haven't shifted the narrative change. It's mainly just trying to, emphasize stocks are booming today. When I see things like that, I do raise questions like, yes, you're telling me stocks are booming, but we're still in a bearish trend theoretically. So is this just fluff pump? Or is this pump because I've obtained what I want and now we're going to shift the buy signal? Kind of the unknowns. That's why earlier I said that it doesn't make sense for us to say we're in a buying operation or we're trend positive. It makes more sense to say we're in an oversold bounce with long metrics starting today, which could lead to a new buying operation. And thus far, the news doesn't yet confirm a new narrative shift or a buying operation, in my opinion. But it could be early signs. It's possible. My opinion, it doesn't really matter. You know what? I guess maybe it does, but I've always tried to make like some opinions about, look, well, I kind of think this, and but bottom line, it's just easier to take a look, see what's going on in the real time, and so on and so forth, right? If we go into a buying operation, we can change narrative. If not, we won't. If we went into a buying operation, maybe it only lasts for 5 hours. Maybe it doesn't last for more than 30 minutes, and then we trigger a new selling operation. All right? So I'll just again, always try to do my best at flipping with the narratives, flipping with the market, and staying relatively on the correct side of the trends and the narratives. Um, and that way I can kind of avoid having to have too much of an opinion and be more objective about the reality of the markets in real time. Now, I could tell you opinions and things, but again, that's kind of opinions and thoughts of what happened to the market can be entirely correct, but along the way there's so much back and forth and this and that it doesn't you'll think that you're wrong, right? So it's like, you could think, oh, well, the market's going to go down, right? Well, it could, but maybe it holds up for another 5 days, right? Maybe we go into a buy operation for 3 days, and then we go into a sell operation, and then it goes down, right? So I would say that the opinion, as far as like, yeah, well, I think this can happen, is irrelevant of what they say, irrelevant of what the market wants, right? And so what the market has told us today is we have a selling operation commencing on the VIX. Whether it becomes extended or not, whether it's short term for just a day or not, is irrelevant of what the information is saying right now. Maybe there's a day where I get better and even know more of that, but who knows, right? So the relevant information right now is, markets have on VIX, a little bit of a sell-off that pumps the market, and it, based off of some of the bigger name stocks here today, it appears that they're going to go for some back tests, and the VIX and then the SPY is going to where is my trading view? I don't know. This guy. Oh, this one. Yeah, and that the market is going to go into and that the market is going to try for what is this? Oh, that's gold. Market's going to try for whatever I just said. I don't know. A minute ago. I'm coming to it. I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm there. Are we there? I'm almost there. Oh, yeah. By the way, the SPY just hit, like we said, that. Remember we talked just a little bit ago about SPY going to 547.19. Well, I mean, we hit 547.13. So we're off right now by about 6 cents. Good chance it can still get tagged. I'm not going to say here this is going to be the top of the market. So bottom line, I mean, we have achieved the SPY Fibonacci target for the day. Took a little while, had to do a little shimmy shake there first, but we got her. So that forecast is pretty much nearly complete. Again, right now, the back test level of trend is 547.72. So, again, right here, we'll see if we can go ahead and get that. It would be nice. We've pretty much already have. Again, so another way of looking at this, right, is so let's just take this whole sell-off, right? And let's say that this, again, the red line here is the moving average trend that dictates bullish, bearish, right? So we've gone from oversold and bounced the market back to finally say, do you want to stay in an uptrend or a downtrend, or are you going to want to try a new buy trend? So by the end of today and going into tomorrow, most likely, unless something weird happens and the market just pulls off a freaking scummy move, we're going to go up and we're going to get 547.73. Vice versa, you will see that or vice versa, it would just be this moving average calculates down and hits price. But we're either going to go up, get it, or the price is going to come down to it. And now the market is going to get a decision here pretty soon, which is, and when I say soon, let's just say today into tomorrow, so on and so forth. We're going to get this level, and now we're going to start to be able to start deciding for ourselves, or trying to, is this a rejection of the 50 SMA that keeps us in a downtrend for a little longer, or is the market going to transition higher and we start kicking off another little buy leg? That's kind of where we're at right now. Again, at this point, I'm not long biased the market for the day, in the sense that we've hit the long target destination Fibonacci of 547.19. We've nearly gotten to the 50 SMA backtest as suggested. This was suggested way earlier this morning, but we had to do some shimmy shake and market had to do its thing. But anyways, so we're kind of at this spot where it's like the market's basically at a resistance spot, a resistance over under. Now, when I say resistance spot, I mean the sense that we hit a long target, so maybe there's some hesitation, and then you also have your 50 SMA moving average, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which is the over under bullish bearish trend. I don't know if we're going to go into a new buying operation. Sometimes they do some weird things, but again, I wouldn't assume that we just go into a full-fledged buying operation after such a big gap and then running into our fib target and then still having to get through the 50 SMA. I would be more in line with the market kind of starts kind of hesitating and pulling back in this area, personally. Yeah. And part of that narrative is probably going to be on the VIX too, because we don't really expect that the VIX is just going to break this low here. So again, this low that was created back here, and then we also triggered a nice push here. Sorry, I'm just doing some stuff. We're not really expecting the VIX to get below the price of 1912 to 1886 in the immediate, right? Because again, just a really big bounce here. If the market wanted to come down, break this level, and keep going, so be it. It's just not your typical first go-ahead thought based off that market structure. It's just not usually what you would assume, right? You'd almost assume that it would kind of hold here and then maybe even bounce. So I'm not sold on a buy signal change on the market. There's no narrative change for it. It's just pump my bags right now, CNBC, Fox News, mainstream media. And I would be more on board with a narrative change and a bullish market trend change if, A, the market flips trend, B, the VIX gets cooked or remains in a sell trend, and then C, I see multiple big name stocks across the board enter their own individual long operations. Then I'd be more on board with markets are in a buy move. Right now, I still sell it and see it as a counter long trend bounce that has yet to decide if it wants a buy signal operation. Oh, sorry, audio's too low. My apologies. Let me turn that up. My bad, yo. My bad, guys. I just turned it up, so if you turned up your mics and can someone tell me, is the audio good now? Everything's solid. Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. You know, I get going and I'm not really looking at the chat. Oh, we have 39 concurrent viewers. Really appreciate you guys. Really do. You know, really do. Just out of curiosity, were you guys able to find, you know, like, I'm just curious how some of you guys found today's stream. It helps me understand kind of how the algos are working. Did you find it through notification? Were you notified of the stream? Did you basically come from Twitter, which was me notifying you? Did you find it because it was suggested to you? Did you have to search my name to find the stream, etc.? Like, you know, basically how easy was it for you to find today's stream? Okay, so an alert from YouTube, that's good. From X, that's good. Long time friend disappears on my homepage. Awesome, that's fantastic. All right, that's good to know. I like that. Homepage, notification, YouTube suggestion, Twitter. Cool. All right, awesome. Thanks for that. It's always good. Thank you. So this was about 12:30, some news from TOS. Major indexes are higher, rebounding from last week. A rebound in tech stocks, including Nvidia, Dell, may also be pushing the indexes higher. Interestingly, I don't even ever really watch Dell. What is their ticker? I don't even know. I never watched that one, but we can find it. We can find it. Oh no, hopefully that's not done for forever now. That would suck. Oh, slowly DEL. That's what I kind of thought, but I was like, Or over here. Huh. Funny. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. That. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know what is this? What, they got some news today and they're getting straight balame with it. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe some news or something. I don't even really care, to be honest. Alrighty, the market is cranking and it is banking. Hopefully you're cranking. Hopefully you're banking. And if not, again, it's really no big deal. Again, bottom line is, yeah, I just hanging out. We're just hanging out. It reminds me of that, what is that that meme or that video of that one little short guy. So I was like, what are you doing? Me? No, I'm just hanging out. Who? Me? Hanging out. Yeah, I mean, plenty of people do that. I've done that. Again, the pretty much the issue you will run into with that is on false buying operations, which can definitely happen, right? So there's again, you can still get chopped up. That's kind of it. But you arguably want to give yourself, time and understand that there can be false buying operations, etc. But yes, I mean, it's pretty much that would just be, you're basically at that point directionally long the market with extra leverage. That's really all that strategy is, and then with time decay, right? So this can be applied whether you're looking at the SPY. A lot of times it can be applied when using highly correlated individual equities or stocks to the SPY, and then also leverage ETFs of the SPY or SPX, etc. So it's, again, I guess the simplest way of putting it is it's a directional long play. If you're in a buying operation, you're looking at basically trend directional long bias, and then anything that falls in line with that is just long directional bias, right? Your only danger is if, the buying operation fails quickly and does a fake one, which can happen, or if you're in too late and the buying operation doesn't have extended gains, then you might not do all that great. So there's still obviously risk, but you're on the right path as far as the question. It really just comes down to how much leverage you want to take on something. Because again, it's really, and that's kind of it, is what you're looking at for a signaling direction is the SPY, right? There's really, at that point, there's no point of really trading the SPY, because you wouldn't beat the returns of the SPY most likely, because you're not in on the bottom if you're waiting solely for a buying operation or a trend change. And then there's no way to beat the gains outside of the market unless you're using essentially leverage, which is where the TQQ comes in, and that's where options come in, or futures, right? So when you're looking at the market as your main metric for, positivity or negativity as far as trend is concerned, you won't be able to beat the market unless you're adding leverage to it, right? Now, you could maybe beat the market returns, right, by, say, buying an individual stock when the market is going through a long operation, because stocks may have significantly more alpha than, obviously, the SPY. So your returns can be significantly higher on an individual stock than that of the SPY, but you could use the SPY as kind of confirmation of when the market's hot and maybe this equity will run. So unless you're going to use it individually on an equity or equities, then there's almost no way to beat the market returns unless you then use a leveraged product and or a leveraged product, ETF, options, futures, right? And then obviously the more you increase leverage, the more risk you take on, right? So again, I hope that helps. But yeah, I mean, it's a directionally long concept. Now you could do like an option strategy with it. You could be Texas Bear, for example. We'll call it an anchor strategy, right? So this is not something that I do, but my partner Dave teaches and does quite often. Ew, puke. Just got a text, a political text, like absolutely ew. You should be paying me thousands to even text me. Literally, get out of here. Block as quickly as possible. Like literally, you should be paying me thousands to text me such nonsense. Yeah, so my perspective would always just be my perspective is for each individual person can carry so much risk, right? You have to decide for yourself what that is and what products would best suit you for what you want to do. There's no right or wrong answer for a winning trade or a winning move or a winning directional pick. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what you want to do, how you want to interact with the market, right? Do you want to be doing options? Are you comfortable that way? Do you want to be doing futures? Are you comfortable that way? Are you more comfortable practicing? I still do that. I still use demo accounts here and there. Not like, actually, I really never use demo accounts until like recently, where I'm like, I kind of want to test some new strategies and things like that. So I'll even pull up a demo account sometimes and like test some stuff out in demos these days, which was kind of funny because I never really did that in the past. But so yeah, like even I'll just throw in a demo account sometimes, like, well, let me see like how this will work, right? Some areas where I may not be as comfortable doing options, like an options leg, I'll just do something like, okay, like let's see, right? Let's test this and just kind of see what it would, not that I'm going to use in the future, but am I even thinking correctly in the first place? So you could do that, right? And just practice on some stuff. Maybe that'll make you more comfortable, or like a 3 times leverage ETF that is less risky than like a futures contract or an options contract. So again, it kind of comes down to like the individual investor, which is the same thing when it comes to portfolio management, which basically you're going to come and you're going to sit down with an FA and they're going to go, what's your risk tolerance? And you're going to be like, well, and more or less they're going to look at how old you are and they're going to be like, well, you're 50 years old, so the last thing we're going to do is leverage you to the tits on stocks. So we're going to have you well mixed between stocks, and some bonds and things like that. If you come in and you're like, I'm 18, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, we'll put you in probably like 80% stocks and maybe 20% bonds because you can carry more risk because your time horizon to retirement's far longer. So you can ride out possible market extremes in the immediate, but as you get a little closer to retirement, we want more stability and conservative investing approach, which doesn't eat away at your capital or run the risk of major market downturns when you need to start deploying capital for whatever reasons. So then extrapolate that same sort of thinking and then apply it to your trading. And now you go, okay, do I want to be leveraged to the tits or not leveraged to the tits? All right. And that is the decision for thyself. Digging in the fedora. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Spy at rejection or breakout point. Don't know. I'll just watch and kind of figure it out from there. The main plan, right? So it's like the main plan was to go up to 547. Well, I want to say the main plan. That's kind of a lie. But, since we got in stream, we've been talking to markets developing. And the main plan is to get up to 547.19. We've done that. Next was to get all the way up into the price of 547.73. We're probably about to do that. So as far as rejections and things like that, it's like arguably we want to see the completion of what we're first looking at. And then maybe from there we'll start to develop and things can change in real time. I'm indifferent. I could really care less what happens here, right? I'm so glad So happy that you guys turned into CNBC today, where they have given you the accurate destination of one of the largest globally traded ETFs live. What a gem of them to do. Just absolute gem of a network. Beautiful. Do 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 do. Your spider senses are tingling. Ooh. Ooh. Alrighty, I'm going to bring back. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at like Dell and all that. I'm actually looking at the wrong screen, talking about some of the stuff. Sorry. But yeah, we've pretty much gotten to our targets. All right, so now I will be watching 547.73, probably as a little bit of a resistance area. But again, it should be treated as a resistance over under level. But yes, I would be watching that for potential resistance areas. Also, got to double check the VIX just to see what's going on here, because the VIX could be also a telltale sign if we're going to get any sort of rejection top or not. So it's not like you're just jumping in, but the idea is there. 547.73, that's the over under. If they want to launch it to a new long signal, so be it. But I'm not on board with that yet. Remember, we talked about watching again the VIX down into about $19, 1878 or so, but not expecting it to go below that. But if it does, so be it. And what's going to happen is they're going to blow the top off 547.73. When I say blow the top off, it doesn't mean like a market's just going to go crazy. It could be kind of minuscule, but ultimately, we would assume that if for whatever reason the VIX were to take out the previous low, then obviously they're going to juice this puppy up on the SPY above the 547.73. Now, some stuff we're going to be paying attention to in the immediate is what was it saying? Yeah, sorry. Some stuff we're going to be paying attention to in the media is some of these shorter term trends on the VIX. Could arguably give some signaling, but we're not quite there yet. Straight algo down on the VIX right now. Straight algo up on the SPY. Nothing's changed. We're just algo up on SPY and algo down on the VIX. So what does that mean? It just is going up for the moment. Until the algorithms want to switch, it isn't switched, right? Now, something to take note, too, is like a lot of people, and not that this always works, too, but like, for example, like, you can see I mapped off here on the VIX at 1906, right? We kind of like 1906 as a potential like VIX area of support prior to the previous low candle here of 1882. Whoa, did you guys see that Bitcoin went to $56,486? That target that we announced just, I don't know, a little bit ago? That's pretty epic. Actually, it's a little higher than that, to be honest. It's actually more like... Oh, did I? Yeah. So we got really close, but I kind of screwed that up. I mean, it's basically there, but the reality is like a true live tag is 56,583. So still got some room up there on that, obviously. Again, debatable whether or not we get a little resistance here, but ultimately, whether or not they want to pull some resistance here, fine. But otherwise, next target here is going to be, I don't know, about 57,326. All I do is call it as I see it. I know you guys are looking at all these lines and going, what is all that? Again, they're all different kind of approaches and strategies used at their own moment in time. Oh boy. Speaking of, I think I'll be right back. I think I'm going to go see if there's some coffee. In the meantime, you guys can watch this ad. Alright, I'll catch you guys back in just like a second or two. Maybe a little longer than that, but I'll be right back. We're back. We are back, and we are Heisenberging. I kind of probably do look like that photo of him a little bit, to be honest, with the mustache going. Bro, why do they keep algoing me? Stop it. Quit it with the algos. Anyways, yeah, I guess we've covered a pretty good amount there on the market. Ooh, new 30-minute candle. Let's see. Oh, wrong thing. Not Bitcoin. I wanted to look at SPY. Hey, come on, go get the target. Hey. And zoom in. Aw, yay, there it goes. Boom, boom, boom. So let's throw out a little. What do we got here? We got any guys with a party hat or? That'd be something, eh? Okay, we'll do this. Ay, woo, yay. Let's throw out a unicorn. Why not? Ay. What else we got in here? Oh, dude, obviously got to throw out a bull because the bull got it. Hey, woo. Fun. Yay. Alright, enough of that. Alright, and so basically we're getting a little bit of resistance. Nothing crazy, obviously, yet. But now I gotta take a look around. Again, so long target, one of long target, I want to say the long target, but long target completion there, back to whatever level that was we were talking about. See, but this is a situation. So it's like we got the 50 SMA target there on the market, but at the same time, there's no sort of there's no uptrend test on the or sorry, there's no uptrend right now on the VIX, which is okay. So basically, it's the market here kind of has to decide for itself. So unless like some short-term stuff maybe gets triggered on the VIX, then I don't see the algo changing yet. We would have to have some sort of resistance metrics on Apple or Nvidia. It could be Nvidia. They could use Nvidia as a trigger to top the market here. It wouldn't be Microsoft. It wouldn't be Google. It's not going to... they could maybe use a backtest concept on Amazon, but I don't think that's it. I don't know, man. There's just... See, the other thing, too, is like... debatable. So basically, we gotta watch Nvidia, I think. So we gotta watch Nvidia. Which other guy? Was it Google or was it Amazon? Amazon. Let me just double check Meta. Yeah, Nvidia's kind of the guy right now, I think. Kind of gotta watch. Alright, so basically, you know, I could see a scenario where they might use Nvidia, throw some resistance, that pulls the market. It's kind of already happening a little bit, and I won't just say it's Nvidia. I mean, there's a multitude of things that it is, but if I had to kind of scour in real time to find something that would help me make sense of it there, it could very well be Nvidia. The other thing I don't like about the scenario is a lot of the stocks still have a lot of way up for back test. So again, I don't really care for it in the moment. Again, if you look at Microsoft, Microsoft still has room up. Meta still has room up. Let's say Tesla still got some room up. Netflix has already been in a long since a little bit ago. Apple still got a little room up. So again, it's kind of one of those scenarios where it's like you have a few big names that could kind of further their press, which would then create the idea of this 50 SMA getting broken up in some fashion. Simultaneously, you kind of have a big player like Nvidia right at potential resistance. So the only thing I see is if they hold a resistance on Nvidia, maybe. Otherwise, they'll just use it, maybe break Nvidia up, and then run the rest of the big names up to their resistance points, which will result in a short-term break of the 50 SMA. Yeah. Like I said, we're at like a new starting point. We kind of have to watch the market closely. And, you know, when I say resistance over under, that means basically it's a bullish, bearish level, right? So we've been below this for how long? Ready? So we've been bearish below this level on Nvidia since back there. Now we're getting to watch it again today. Is it going to be used as short-term resistance or not? And if not, that's going to further help the market up. So let me take this off, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. And things don't just always move one-to-one, super easy and rational in the market. Ready? So I'm going to pop this on a 1 minute. Maybe a 5 minute. I don't know. There you go. So that's it right there. That's the over-under. So arguably, this is the bullish level on Nvidia, right? So when I say bullish level, I mean it's the bullish bearish, right? I think we came close to using it as resistance this morning, down, and now testing again, right? What are you starting to see on this bottom, right? Kind of like a hook pattern. So enough talking. We'll just let things kind of develop and see where we go from there. No. I would have to see some sort of, basically some knifing action here off this 50 SMA to convince me we've got a decent short roll on our hands. Looks like Bitcoin probably into our target. Yep, so Bitcoin's hit our target here. If it plays really nicely, it just keeps going. If it plays probably as things normally do, which is hesitate, yada yada, you may get a pullback here, whatever, but ultimately we're looking for here and here for right now. So T1 has been completed. Do we get easy movement to T2? I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just give the targets. I don't know. Spy up a good amount, but not text, not moving sus. Kind of who controlling or writing those algorithms? Who controls writing? I mean, I have no idea. I mean, some kid that was at Stanford, who knows? Some kid at Yale, whatever, Wharton. But again, there's kids on YouTube that, write programs for trading and making trading bots. All of these programs, from the most extensive to the most fundamental one built from some kid on YouTube, let's just say, could very well be doing it. Like they'll look at like MACD's positive buy long, right? Or prices over X moving average buy long, right? So there's all sorts of reasons for money coming into the market at specific times for specific reasons in a multitude of ways that we can't even probably comprehend. Some of which are probably more simple, some of which maybe more complex. Who's writing them? I mean, banks, anybody writing a trading algorithm that uses if-then statements, things that can be tracked, quantifiable. Okay. Patterns aren't, I would say patterns aren't easily quantifiable because there's so much variation to them. But something that is quantifiable is a moving average that has specific set parameters in how it's calculated, right? And the moving average changes, but it's always the same. The calculation, the trend that is derived based off this moving average is always accurate in its best sense. A pattern or a bull flag that you think you see, is it a bull flag? Is it a pennant? Is it gonna be a bull flag of more of like a head and shoulders pattern, etc.? Harder to quantify, right? Ooh, that's a little bit of that could be a little bit of an algo candle there. Really abrupt pop, instantly shut down. That's kind of interesting. We'll see. I could signal a top there in the interim just because of the movement. So I'm going to put a vertical line there, and we might arguably see a lower low, lower high transition start here. Doesn't mean that we're not still thinking about, maybe getting up to there. But again, the movement was so fast and then instantly shut down so quick. Someone's off guard. Algorithms are changing. Something like that. Or someone just slammed along and then the algos are like, yeet, back down. Again, I couldn't say for sure, but there's definitely some funky business going on there with Bitcoin in the moment. And it's actually, it'd be better set it's right here on this 1 minute candle. So I'll move this to, well, I mean, a 5 minutes fine. That's fine. It's fine. Oh, well, I thank you to the 33 likes and the 41 concurrent viewers with us today. God bless your hearts. Again, I do appreciate you guys tuning into the stream with me. It's always fun to stream. It's always fun to have some fun. I was going to say, I can't really say I make a whole lot of money from YouTube streams or YouTube just in general. Used to make a decent amount of money, but these days I don't really make. So it's not even really about that. It's really just spending time hanging out with you guys. If things pick up, cool. If not, no big deals. But yeah, I do appreciate the ones that are here hanging out, tuning in. It's good stuff. Does anybody know why Bitcoin went to $56,604 or so? Is anybody? I'm asking for a friend. I'm confused over here. I'm still struggling. Don't know what's going on. Just hanging out. Should honestly play some Slither.io right now, to be honest. Actually, I'm about to turn this fan on. It's kind of getting hot. Hola, amigo. Anybody know why little Bitcoin is creating a little bit of a lower high rolling potential scenario here? I don't know. Something's going on, folks. Something's going on. Let's see what the market news says. Let's get back to some news. Oh boy. Man. Sorry, guys. Wait. Oh, I meant to go to Google. What was I gonna say? Don't know. Don't remember. Oh yeah, stock market news. Duh. Just kind of looking for something new here. Nothing really new. All still from about 54 minutes ago, 50 something hours ago, or 50 hours, 54 minutes ago. Looks like you're getting a little bit of a resistance candle there on the SPY, SPX, things like that. Nothing too crazy. So I'm pretty much going to be working solely in our private room all week this week. That's mainly because my partner Brandon, he is undergoing a pretty big surgery, so obviously he is not going to be around till he's fully recovered and feeling good. So I'll be managing and running our private Discord and all the forecasting and analysis there for our private team until Brandon's kind of back up on his feet, feels comfortable to be back streaming and working. And then at that point, then I might be hopping back onto the YouTubes in the morning and so on and so forth. So at least a couple weeks here probably, as far as like being able to be live in the morning and things like that. Okay. Oh yeah, so I went to look at the news, go to get more coverage. It's all about 44 minutes ago. Nothing as of recent. Nope, no recent news. No news on... I couldn't find any news on the mainstream media providing some Bitcoin long targets for us. They didn't do that today. At least not on the front headlines or I would just call it the newspaper. The digital newspaper had no suggestions of long targets on Bitcoin today. Did not give any mentions of the long signals or sell signals on the VIX today which contributes to market long environments. Didn't see any of that. Was looking for it, couldn't find it. But maybe tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, there's no mention of the markets being at a solid over-under trend right now in the market. Not seeing anything about that. I'm curious though. I wonder what the Twitter Bitcoin space looks like now that Bitcoin's gone to the 56,600 interim target. So let's see what happens if we type in hashtag Bitcoin. Let's see, latest. Let's see. Actually, I don't know. Just looks like a bunch of weird Bitcoin posts. Oh, sometimes it's always kind of weird. Media, maybe? Maybe that's it. That's where I'm supposed to be looking. No, that's just pictures. Top Bitcoin. DJ 30, taste and destroy. What's up, brother? Good to hear from you. Shorted DJ 30. I actually don't. Is that the Dow? I'm not exactly sure what the DJ 30 ticker is. I've never used it myself, so maybe it could just be like the Dow, but your platform calls it that. Sometimes platform tickers are different from platform to platform. We are arguably, Taste and Destroy, we're arguably at an over-under level, so we might kick off a new buy wave here pretty soon, whether it's a shorter one or not. That's all macro stuff, pretty short-term stuff. But again, the short-term stuff is what develops the long-term, so, you know. We've had a good run to the downside so far. Maybe we get some more. We'll see. But we did hit some pretty big supports around, like, you know, the last bottom, which was a Friday session. Again, this is all short-term stuff too, I guess, to a degree. That's good. I like to hear that. Yep, it's a down. Yeah, so like what I will say with that, if that's exactly what, so we'll go to DJX, right? Or is it UDAO? Maybe it's. Is this, I never look at the Dow on here. I just want to make sure this is the correct ticker I should be watching here, DJX. See, something just doesn't seem, no. I gotta look at, I gotta figure out something else. Yeah, that just doesn't look right. Hold on. DJI. Okay. That still just does not seem accurate. Huh. So weird. That's Dow futures. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. It's different from platform to platform. I'm getting just kind of like missed some readings on the Dow that don't quite make sense versus, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say because like the Dow, if this thing's calculating right, the Dow entered a little bit of a long operation today, which obviously would have contributed some gains, but not necessarily all of them. But yeah. So, anyways, gonna flip back to the SPY here though, because again we have come into the resistance. All right. So again, that vertical line I just put on the chart there, referencing kind of the top that's been started around 54762. We'll see if it amounts to more or not. Let's go back over to good old Bitcoin. So you see what I was talking, well, maybe you remember I was talking about earlier, and Apple still got some room up, arguably in close to those 221.18, 221.18. Nvidia just basically hanging out at trend. Microsoft still has some room up. Google's got plenty of room back up, but it's lagging. Meta still got some room up. Again, it's late in the day. Things are moving slow. Oh, come on. Starbucks looking strong. Is he looking beefy? Let's see. Well, yep. So Starbucks is right at trend. So it's gone from basically downtrend to testing downtrend. So what you're seeing on Starbucks today, we would call let's call it an oversold bounce back to trend. Not yet trend positive. Could it shift? Yes. All these things. Again, bottom line is just like back here. Ready? So watch back here. Right. So look at Starbucks was down, and then it was up and positive. All right. Now Starbucks is down, back to trend. So you've gotten what you're seeing as strong is actually still an oversold bounce that hasn't maybe confirmed an uptrend. BYND. Was that Beyond Meat? Yeah. Okay. Beyond Meat. Sounds terrible. Bruh. It's just absolutely comical. Just comical. Beyond Meat. Yum. and yay. Yeah, so this is kind of a situation where, I mean, even the weekly isn't necessarily given the greatest of signals just because we've seen it kind of creep through a couple times. So this is pretty much a scenario where you need the weekly market to go into an uptrend to create a big long move on a longer term weekly scale. Now, amongst the longer term weekly, of course, you're doing these little like for example, watch this, right? So if we dial this down all the way to the 30-minute chart, a lot of your longs on BYND over the past, like, let's just call it like, I don't know, year have been contributed to a lot of the short term, right? So you're in a big long-term downtrend, and occasionally you're going to get these short-term uptrends. So like you can kind of see right here. Let's throw a vertical line here. So like Alt-V, right? So you can see we've been down, flips positive, high uptrend, then down, flip positive, boomed up, then down, then pop, pop, right? So you're getting these little in-between, breakouts on trend. But there's so many bag holders right now that it keeps getting sold into. So maybe one day that ends for BYND. Wherever the hell this price went on my chart, I have no idea. There it is. So again, maybe one day there's a transition there, but ultimately, if you're going to get a nice long kind of transition on BYND, it's arguably going to have to, it's going to need to start getting over this weekly stuff and maintaining. Checking the monthly. You don't look at monthlies all that much, but yeah. So, out of curiosity, so let's do 2 week. Yeah, no, I don't even have this set up for that. Yeah, so you're basically gonna need, you need a weekly uptrend, and even the last couple times you got there, kind of just meh. But if you can transition a weekly, go in something positive, that would help. Something that I can kind of relate this to, but definitely different, I think is CVNA. Here's CVNA. So this is kind of what I mean, but then again, CVNA was, manipulated and they made a perfect uptrend out of it. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, when you look at something like Carvana that got absolutely cooked, right? You needed it to start a long-term uptrend, which could then juice the stock on a bigger scale, right? So extrapolate that same thing. Let's run it over to BYND, and you're kind of looking at a similar scenario, but obviously metrics and markets are always different across the board. So you basically have a long-term downtrend that has yet to flip into a positive uptrend. So it's hard to get the positive players and the positive algorithm shift on board for the moment, that is. Which then would obviously lead to bigger presses. You know what's funny is when I get this alert from Coinbase. Bitcoin, or price alert, Bitcoin is up 5% to $56,615.83. It's like, oh wait, no way. Are you kidding? Who would have thought? Who would have thought Bitcoin could go back to $56,600 or 56,000? What did he say? $56,600 or so. Who would have thought? Which is actually kind of funny because that came at 1:07 p.m. So let's go to 1:07 p.m. So at about 1:07 p.m., Coinbase, one of the biggest platforms for Bitcoin, sends out a price alert that it's up 5% and it's reached 56,615, which is arguably our T1 target pretty much, right? And arguably a resistance spot. Is it going to hold resistance perfectly and create a big detrimental downturn? Maybe. There's a good chance you get some sort of sell leg here, whether it's bigger or smaller. So it's just funny that we get Bitcoin to the 56,600 target, T1, and then at 1:07 p.m., Bitcoin hits a price alert, which goes out to millions of people about the new upside gain that's just been made. Simultaneously, it's when it reaches a long target. And then 2 minutes after that, you get an algorithm candle that we mapped off with the vertical line, suggesting this could be an interim top roll. You see how all those stars kind of align? All right. 107 Bitcoin market gets a 5% return to 56,600. The T1 target. 109 p.m. a candle gets algoed, potentially shifting an intermarket top. Now you're starting to see little lower high formations. Again, I'm not one to say that that's like a telltale signal and the market's going to get destroyed. By the way, did you guys see that the SPY is getting cooked right now? How is that happening? Why is that happening? Oh, don't know. The world may never know. Oh, man. Look at that. Look at that. It's just pretty. Remember, we marked off the vertical line, suggested it looks like we might have an algo shift here. Even the yellow line. Remember, we marked the yellow line off because it said this is the over-under resistance. Again, it's not like we said you got to short the top. And that's not my objective here, to basically throw you guys into plays nonstop. It's more or less to kind of emphasize how the market reads in real time, forecast the levels, emphasize as much as I know is why things can be important points, why things might shift. Again, I'm just here to forecast, throw some things out. You guys click your own buttons. We got to do something, though. There's something we got to do. What do I got to do? I got to go to the VIX. Where'd the VIX go? I don't even know. It was right there. Oh, it's right there now. Gotcha. All right, so, yeah, figures. The question is, did we really flip the algos? All right, so we are starting a little algo shift there on the 1 minute. So you guys can see here. So let me bring up the SPY. All right, so you can kind of see what happened here, right? So let's think about this bottom. So this bottom here on the VIX, what was that? What was the bottom on the VIX there? That was the 30-minute 50 SMA resistance top on the market. So the market topped the 50 resistance. That bottoms the VIX. The VIX 1 minute right here enters an uptrend, as you can see. It starts to get over that 50 SMA, kind of like with a little flag pattern. So the 1 minute VIX enters along, which helps the micro down on the SPY in real time. This probably transitions to a 5 minute. It's kind of far away, but the next thing to happen is to see the VIX either run to the 5 minute / 5 minute catch up. That's generally the consensus. So we'll either be looking at the VIX back, arguably, to, it might be too soon to say that, to 2020. Again, these are real short-term micro things, but that's the next moving average in sequence that we'll be following for the VIX. Yeah, so again, whether that comes in the fashion of markets just blow up there or prices kind of remain down and sideways, again, kind of irrelevant. It's just that's the moving average sequence. And you can only move through the moving average sequence in a few ways. That's either price goes to or SMA comes to. It's one of two ways. Again, so we'll be transitioning to the 5 minute scale on the VIX here now, and that's it. Taste and destroy. Nice. I love that. That's great. Taste and destroy. Okay. So it looks like Bitcoin is booming through the T1. So this is a scenario where if, basically the T1 target doesn't really create an interim top, it can suck in short sellers, and then it's these people that tried to short that blows it to the next one. Again, it's a pretty common scenario we see. Again, might still be a little too early for that, but basically it's the early shorts that will then fuel the fire to the next target a lot of times. But it's still a little too soon for all of this. We got to let things digest and so on and so forth. It was, yeah, it's actually pretty funny. The last week when I streamed, I think I streamed a couple days that week or whatnot. So you know, on average, I would say our channel loses anywhere from like 2 to 5 subscribers a day. It's a pretty consistent trend there. And then the last week when we streamed a couple times, the numbers went to consistently -20 to -25 subscribers. So our channel currently has the inverse effect. The more we stream and the more we work, the more we lose, which is a good thing. That's a great thing. So like I said, make sure you hit the subscribe button, or make sure you hit the like button, because that will help us get to below 166,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And if you continue to watch the stream, you continue to support our channel, I'm almost positive we'll probably be at like 165,500 to 65,700 by the beginning of next month. So we're on a good path to get down from 166 into the 165 by next month if you guys keep it up. All right, let's work it together as a team. It's too much fun. I have a blast. It's good. Always remember Neo, the comp. Neo. Sure, why not? Why not? Neo. Oh, let's see. Neo is in a weekly downtrend. Looks like it's bouncing up to the weekly. So there's a good chance you, again, basically anytime we come into a key moving average, I think, let's see what it looks like it forms there. So you're basically coming into resistance / breakout. And whether it breaks out, again, I'm not here to say it will or won't, but you're coming into the 50 weekly SMA. That's a pretty good chance you're going to go up and get that. You've already broken out the daily. So again, like you can see here, you took out the daily. So it's the daily breakout that allows you to go up to the weekly. So good chance to see Neo maybe into 579s. Then I would watch for some resistance in the immediate there. If it tends to break out, we'll see. Obviously, we look at the macro. The macro is probably long. So if we take Neo and flip it to the macro, you can see when did the uptrend start on Neo. Neo's uptrend started like basically right here. So let's put an Alt V. So the macro long started with the uptrend takeover on the 30-minute scale. Then the 30-minute scale was able to basically get it to break out the daily. So I'm going to put a horizontal line at the daily here. So we'll go daily 50 SMA here. All right. So if we go back to a 30-minute, you can now see kind of how the market moves a little bit better through key moving averages and how algorithms speak, right? So you had your macro long signal here. That creates your higher low base uptrend sort of flag formation, which results in a breakout, this yellow here, of the daily. So then your daily gets positive, which is obviously a bigger level than the 30-minute. But so now your daily's positive. So this kind of booming move right here, that's your daily uptrend starting over the yellow. And then with succession of a breakout, it appears that you're going to be running this towards about 578. I mean, you're already pretty close. Again, think about it from here, right? The daily was down here. The weekly is up here. So as far as the moving average sequence from daily to weekly, it's completed basically 80% of the run. All right, so you have a 35.8% return, or a price increase of $1.53 from the daily to weekly. So a $1.53 increase from the daily to weekly, a 36% return, give or take. The market's already done 31% of that move, or well, let me phrase that. The gain is potential of 36, moving average sequence to sequence. You got in 31 and a gain of $1.33, and the gain can be as high as like $1.52 as far as moving to the next weekly. Now, does it break out the weekly and do this and do it again? Maybe. Again, I'm not here to give you these scenarios of mega pumps and mega booms and this and that. I'm just trying to actively help you kind of see the market as it flows through the fractal nature of moving averages and key levels and uptrends across multiple time frames. So again, I would not be looking to take NEO higher than 579 in the micro short term, because I have no clue if that is going to hold weekly resistance. And if so, then you could get clapped a little bit. If it breaks out the weekly, fantastic. Otherwise, again, that's just kind of where I sit on that. Now, you can even see back here, right? If you look at, NEO, we had, again, like right here, you had multiple kind of false little uptrend starts on the 30-minute, so on and so forth. So it's not that this is a perfect system. There's never going to be anything that's too perfect in the market. But just a side note, individual stocks are more volatile than the market. So when it comes to using macro trends or these micro trends like a 30-minute, I don't even know what to call it. It's not even a micro, it's not a macro, a midterm, a micro. Yeah, so your midterm or your medium term trends can be a little fakey, but that's about as low as you would go to look for an uptrend downtrend start. Do. Oh my goodness. Why is the old Bitcoin topping? Why? Because the Matrix sent the message. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? SPY. Absolutely cooked. Does anybody know why the SPY is rolling over and topping? I'm asking for a friend. I'm really confused. I just don't know. Because again, when we look at the news says get ready for massive rally 19 hours ago. Jumped 600 points 44 minutes ago, 600 points. Inflation reports loom, something. Dow Jones rally. Rebound with Apple. Wall Street poised for gains. Etc., etc. Right? But we're still not in a buy signal. All right? So since we're still not in a buy signal, we don't fully have the green light. Bruh. I should reverse Kramer. Yeah, definitely don't be looking for resistance up at the 547.60. Definitely a terrible idea. You should never think that there should be resistance there, ever. Slam. It's kind of like the Twitter post today, though. Bring that up. Profile, is it this? Look at these cute little guys. Look at that cute little guy. I mean, come on. Look at that little guy. Such a looker. Oh yeah, so here it is. Market is pumping. I spelt like an idiot here, but not, there's nothing outside the norm. Can't spell, but I can look at a chart, right? Market is pumping. It couldn't be those sell ops we're seeing on the VIX. Nah, that's not it. Don't look there. That would be terrible advice. Right? So, when we look at the VIX and we see those buy ops taking place, what's going on here? Did they just jam the 5-minute already? Nah, but probably pretty close. Not quite. I mean, you can see, like we said before, you kind of have the algorithms pointed down. Then you went over the 1-minute uptrend start. We pointed out the little mini flag pattern there just to be cute. We all, we do our best here, folks. We do our best. What else we got cooking? Good looking. But yes, that tweet talking about don't look for the selling operations, right? So you see here, nice little selling op. See again. So know how we just went over all the weekly SMAs and we said, hey, look at NEO's going over the short term and now it's going over the daily and yada yada yada, right? So what happened today with the VIX? Can you guys just in chat just say yes if you understand real quick? Do you guys see where the selling operation on the short term commenced and where the buying operation slightly broke down today on the VIX, the volatility index? Does anybody see that? If so, just say yes. That's all we need. That's good. We see one person sees. One person has eyes. I never knew I would have a stream with 30 plus blind people all at the same time. It's pretty crazy. You don't see that every day. No pun intended. So, just kidding. Gotta have some jokes, right? I mean, we can't just have our eyes bleed looking at charts all day. I'm blind. Actually, I am legally blind in my right eye, though. So, something to notate. So, too many lines. Yeah, the red curve is the SMA there. That's the breakdown. So yes, you can see where that white line is pointed to. That is where we got a breakdown today. We had two. We had like kind of like a little mini false one to start the day, and then we had another one here. All right. So we kind of had like double long signals today on the VIX, meaning like we initially started the day around the open and kind of in pre-market with the VIX kind of breaking down, kind of juicing the market up. Then we went through a pullback, and then the VIX re-broke down and re-juiced the market up. All right, so we kind of had two sell operations commence today, which then kind of signaled juice on the market. So when you look at the market, you will see how did the market kind of operate. All right, so you kind of start the day into the open, it juices up, then the VIX goes through a bounce, so we pull it back, and then the VIX re-breaks down the 50 SMA at 2091, and we rejuice the market. All right. Now we have this pullback on the SPY. So basically the way this is going to work, which it already is this here is the rejection of the 50 SMA, and as long as the market does not reclaim this green line here, we're just going to stay downtrending off that high. Under JJ Wacky the Backy. Oh boy. All right, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna do a little walking around, a couple squats, keep moving, get this blood flowing in the legs. I will be right back. Cheers. Where's my streaming thing? There it is. I'll be back, friends. How Apple event gonna affect Apple stock? Don't know. Hopefully good. I don't even know what event you're talking about, to be honest. So probably can't speak too much on that. I'm not really sure. But hold on, let me try to make sense of it. All right, so I don't know if this is exactly it, but I'm picking up Apple's holding a major event on September 9th, 2024, titled It's Glow Time. Yay. Yay. This event will feature several key announcements, including unveiling the iPhone 16. Oh my, the iPhone 16 lineup. Wow. Which is expected to have larger displays and slimmer bezels. Additionally, there will likely be updates to Apple Watch Series 10, including new health features like sleep apnea detection and potentially new AirPods with enhanced audio USB charging, which AirPods and wireless headphones are really bad for you. Unfortunately, I've used them for a while. Now switching back to corded headphones because they are, in fact, better for you. The event is also expected to introduce iOS 18 and possibly new iPad mini models alongside some updates on other Apple products such as the AirPod Max 2, etc., etc. So there appears maybe some announcements of products that we've all pretty much are aware of. So if the cult continues to like it and buy it, then Apple shall do well. But the funny thing is they kind of, again, Apple's in a downtrend. So arguably, it's my assumption that the news announcement or whatever is coming. Could it be a good outcome, and could the stock rally off it? Sure, but since we're actually in an active downtrend, I have to assume that whatever's that come with the announcement will either affect it negatively, not have a meaningful impact on the upside. And if I'm wrong about that, then that means the market uses the event and throws it into a buy signal, at which point then I would shift the bias. But since Apple is in a downtrend currently, the market is in a sell signal currently, until the market narrative and structure changes, I would assume that the event drives either Apple down further, or maybe, it doesn't really have all that big of an effect. Me being wrong would arguably be like, okay, market goes into a buy signal and we just got to shift bias. But right now, Apple is bearish. How did I not know today was Apple event? I really don't read the news or like keep up on like all these little details of like these things. Um, and I'm starting to pay attention to them more, because it does kind of help a little bit more with now that like I was gonna say, like, there's events and news announcements. It's like, they could go one way or the other. So I never really would pay attention to them all that much. I just merely look at trend and things like that. But now that it's like I have a pretty well established approach on trend and looking at things in that degree, it is making the news narratives and the changes are making more sense. So I'm paying attention to them more these days, but almost in like a contrarian way. So yeah, again, I guess that's one way of putting it. It's not always correct, that way of thinking, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm not really like, that's what I mean. I'm like not too concerned with Apple's announcement, because I know that when algorithms take hold of a certain market, again, it's really kind of irrelevant to a degree, and that's not entirely true. That's kind of false. Like, the news is important, and those things are important, but as far as the movement of the market is a lot of times dependent upon algorithms. So unless those, parameters start to shift and change, my main focus isn't going to be like, oh, is the news going to be good and cause this thing to go booming? It's like, no, it's like, is this thing in a buy signal or a sell signal first and foremost? Then it's like, okay, if news and something does come out, does it change the narrative? Does it change the trend? And if not, then we're just still going to sell down. Dude, why is dude, stop selling the market. Please stop it. Stop. Who's doing this? Stop selling the SPY. We don't want it to go down. The news told me that stocks are gaining, things are pumping. You're supposed to go up. I could have swore the news said stocks gain. Stocks are looking for pump. Why are you going down? Stop it. Stop now. That's fun. Good stuff. Why is Bitcoin doing this little shindig topper Magoo thing? Why is Apple getting cooked? Ooh, alright. So, again, there's NVIDIA. Wasn't really paying attention too much in the immediate, but again, you can kind of see it here. Remember, we were talking about NVIDIA, and we're like, hey guys, we got the resistance potentially here. They might use NVIDIA as a trigger to top the market as far as a single equity, and you can kind of see where does it top. Right about that red line. Now, someone might look left and go, okay, we're topping because we're coming into the supply, which arguably true. I was just taking this as more of an area where the trend directional pick is at, and so whether it's going to decide kind of hang out above or we're going to go into another pullback, right? So again, I would definitely see NVIDIA as kind of a trigger stock there. Whether that's more correct or not, I guess I couldn't say for sure, but it's yeah, it's a way that my brain likes to, rationalize it. Have I looked into ICT methods? Yes, I've looked in. I know of ICT methods and those things. I use different stuff. And I will say this, that generally speaking, um, a lot of good approaches generally line up with other good approaches. Um, I probably should maybe sit down and study his stuff, like the ICT concepts in a more deep manner than I have, because then I'll basically know how all of the ICT traders are positioned, and that would essentially give me even more edge, I would assume, because it's not just looking at that, but it's also looking at a ton of different other metrics that I know the ICT concepts aren't looking at. So it's an area maybe for edge. I could see that, but no, I don't know it enough to try to even come close. Well, I could, like, fair value gaps, obviously you can find a fair value gap across all the other things, but all the rest of them, sibbies and bibbies and libbies, I don't know those for sure. But I do know that a lot of people love ICT concepts. And actually, yeah, for anyone watching the stream, go ahead, check out his YouTube channel. I think it's a really big YouTube channel. Got a lot of great content there. A lot of people follow it, and use it. And I see it's very common on Twitter as far as like some of the approaches and concepts, and on TikTok. So it's a pretty widely liked / loved approach. So I would also encourage everyone in this stream to go check out some of that stuff on YouTube, Twitter, or TikTok, wherever you guys like to kind of do your stuff at. Bro, why are they still selling it? Where's my fedora? Give me my fedora back. Doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Don't know. I mean, what the heck, right? I mean, Apple or Microsoft is rolling down. I mean, Google's just been cooked. Apple just getting cooked. Nvidia, semi cooked. Maybe it's just sitting in the microwave for a minute or two, just roasting, but maybe not full cooked. Microsoft semi cooked. Google is, again, that thing's been, it's overcooked. Amazon maybe just starting to get cooked. Meta, little simma. Berkshire Hathaway in a sell-op. Lilly in a sell-op. TSM arguably could be a trigger later on for the semis. AVGO, been cooked in a sell-op. Tesla kind of transitioning into a sell-op since yesterday. We talked about that. Was that yesterday? Oh no, that was Friday. We said Tesla was going into a sell-op around like 218, slid all the way down to a low of 210 by the end of the day. Nice. JPM, potential trigger op there on the downside. J&J, sideways trend, possible retrace too, back down to 166.09. Oh yeah, Visa's just cranking and banking. Ooh, Netflix kind of starting some sell action there. Well, obviously the market's rolling, so stocks are kind of getting hit down, but you're starting to get some shifting on some of these stocks again through key levels, back on the downs. So unless something changes. AMD still just hanging out. UPS been in a buy-op for, I don't know, a day or so, or whenever that was. I think it was the day. Honeywell, nothing crazy. Union Pacific has been in a sell-op since like basically September 5th or so. PG, PG kind of rolling here. This might even create a little sell opportunity here. A little PG action. We'll check that bad boy. Wouldn't expect it to really get below the lows here. If anything, what's this, a 30-minute? Let's just see, just for giggles. Just for the old giggle daddies. Don't you people just start selling this thing already. Taking out the 30-minute higher low sequence, that's kind of interesting. 4 hour, be back down to there. What about the one? One's right there. Guess I can't really get a read off of that per se, but 15 taken, 30 is getting taken. All right, 1 minute there. That's kind of interesting. Kind of light volume, but still. What about KO? Coca-Cola. Kind of at an interesting spot too. GLD hanging. All right. So we're kind of coming into the 30-minute support over under with the market. It's kind of like a do or die spot too. What are we at? 208. So that really just means this 30-minute just started. So kind of a lot of time left during the candle. Again, I don't really care for it myself, but that's kind of a key over under spot 545.43 that's getting taken out. Basically, it's a 30-minute higher low development location, and obviously if it gets taken, then it's going to keep washing, jam. Yeah. You get the point. We still have, again, 12 minutes. Wait, would that be 12 minutes? No, we still have 22 minutes left on this candle, so there's still a lot of time left on this candle. So even if we were going to transition, positive off the low side, it wouldn't happen for maybe another 22 minutes anyways. So, but, that being said... Yeah, so again, like I said, right here is, it doesn't even matter. I'm not even going to put it on the chart. There's enough stuff on the chart, enough stuff we look at. But I guess the most simple way of kind of spitting it is, again, you get the point. You guys know. This is 30-minute over under, yeah. And as long as market is below this price up here, I mean, theoretically, even the micro is bearish. I know it kind of sounds weird, but that would be another break. I don't really care for like that. Bro, why are they pulling Bitcoin back? I don't understand. I don't even. Bro, CNN said we were about to buzz the crazy one. Was about to go crazy. Oh, man. It does not get any more comical than getting an alert from Coinbase at 1:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about the new price increase for Bitcoin. Do I still have it? Yeah. Bitcoin is, I should make a Twitter post about this because it's just too, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even, what make a Twitter post so basically no one on the planet can see it anyways. Who cares, right? But it's just too funny. Bitcoin is up 5%, 56,615 at 1:07 p.m. and at 1:09 this thing gets algo topped. Oh, man. Tell me that isn't a coinkadinker. All right. What what time is it? 2:11 p.m. I'm just gonna be, again, I'm just hanging out. Probably gonna go maybe make a snack. Could come back. Again, I'm just hanging out. At this point, I might even play some Slither.io or something. I don't know. You guys want to watch me play an online game? Sure, why not? Let's find it. I'm gonna put it right here. Could play Tetris. Do 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 do. You guys ever play this game? This game's it's one of my childhood favorites, to be honest. I wouldn't know it was my childhood, but my niece and nephew used to play this game when they were little kids, and I'd babysit them, and kind of just like it because it's so simple. All you do is just kind of drive around and collect little Orbeez, and the next thing you know, you get huge. Do I use Bookmap? Not really. They have a free version. I tried to use a free version on Thinkorswim a while ago because I didn't really care to pay for it, and it's like I'm usually looking at the SPY and NASDAQ anyways, so I think they provide the free Bookmap on TOS, so I never really saw the need to really pay for it. So that being said, I haven't used the free version on Thinkorswim in quite some time, or tried to, because it seemed like every time I did, my computer was like glitching out. But I should take a peek in that. So if you can use a free version on Thinkorswim, I think you should at least give that a go. But I think it definitely has very valuable use cases. Who's gonna get slithered? Ah, slithered you, baby. Bye. Figures. Bro, why is Bitcoin going down? Someone stop the bleeding. We need to go to T2. We need to go to T2. I actually kind of need to pull up a different chart, but I can't because I'm slithering and I don't want to die. Alright, it's going to have to be quick. Oh, no. How's it going to do it? How am I going to do it? I got to go to the outskirts. Got to go to the outskirts. No. No, no. Can't do it. Can't die. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're back. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Are you talking about like the whole AI stuff? Could be. Funny. Oh no, almost slithered myself. I mean, pretty much markets is doing the same jazz. Again, we went through that sell move. I don't know. I'm currently Slither IOing, but as soon as I die, we'll take a peek at some stuff. But until then, bro, this guy just will not stop trying to get me. Chill. Oh. Alrighty, so what's going on with the VIX? Hold on, I gotta check this out. 5:15. Huh. Probably got the 5-minute though, eh? Yeah, we got the 5-minute 50 SMA. Sounds like someone's just listen. Oh no, you glitching me out. Of course you would. Ah, that's dumb. Lame. Just straight glitched my computer out, so I had to close Slither. Figures, always. I mean, currently the YouTube algo has a set at 30. So they're cool with, you know, just above 30 live right now. Interesting. Again, we can obviously, we look at algos in the market, we can see the algo on the stream. I see it. I see you. I see you. So what about T2? Yeah, T2, Bitcoin. T2, 57,326. Arguably, you got to get through this resistance top, and effectively, it's going to have to blow out anyone picking tops here on the short. Use them. Hit up T2. This is also a daily level resistance, so we're not looking for anything more than just some short-term resistance, which we're getting off this top. If there was going to be some sort of bigger resistance move, it would come arguably tomorrow, and as we transition into the next day. Otherwise, you know, we're most likely just looking at trailing back up to T2. So arguably, it's up to T2 by blowing out this top here, and if not, then we'll find out probably by tomorrow as we get resistance into the next day on the daily candle, which I should probably look here real quick. Which may not be that strong, but we'll see. Again, time will tell. It always does, but generally speaking, if we don't just kind of blow out today or through the after night or overnight session, then we might see the market try to attempt a red candle tomorrow. But ultimately, if there's no red daily candle tomorrow, or even if the market starts with the daily red candle, but then gets bought up pretty quickly, then we're just going to blow up into probably 57,326. Oh, why is the market going down again? I don't understand. Um, nah, I wouldn't call it that. You know, it's just giving the other take, right? We gotta, you know. But yeah, there's a lot. Again, there's a lot of people focused on the Bitcoin market up to 70,000 right now. Um, you know, and I know there's probably a lot of people kind of getting all juiced up on Bitcoin right now because it's up. But again, little do they know, we are leading right into resistance. Again, so we have T1 resistance and arguably T2. But we just formally basically call it the long target resistance zone. I will not project. I mean, I have projections higher, but we're not through this zone, so I don't really think they're activated yet. But anyway, so T1, T2 kind of area. You know, I mean, you just kind of have to watch kind of how it develops into the next day. If you write down everything I said on Bitcoin, or if you were to write everything down that I'm about to say right now, and you kind of followed into the market, like, oh, that I guess that kind of makes sense, right? And again, at the end of the day, you know, there's only really two ways something can go, up or down. So obviously, you're like, duh, right? It's always kind of funny when you do like analysis and talk about it. It's kind of like, well, obviously, like, if it goes down, then you probably see a red candle tomorrow. Like, obviously, duh, right? But it's kind of also like the timing and the transition of how something like that might take place and how you can start to build that expectation. So today we hit some daily long target slash resistance. Since it's a daily level, it's not like, you know, it's like in the interim, yes, we're pulling it. But if the daily is meant to hold resistance, you'd most likely see it take effect into the next day. Not always, but many times, meaning they will hold an interim top, smaller or bigger, and if it's meant to be true, then as it transitions into the next day, the daily candle prints red. That's a commonality that we see, right? The flip side of that is the daily target on the long slash potential T1 resistance doesn't amount to much, and everyone who decided to short it gets blown out to T2. And then we'll try another top, right? But anyone who, like, for example, was shorting around 56,000, all this stuff, you know, or selling it, however you want to point it, if they're looking for a big payday on a pullback, they're most likely going to have to wait overnight to begin with. So, you know, hence the short-term pull, then the wait, right? So it's like, we'll see. By tomorrow, most likely. Oh, they unalgoed us. Down below. Oh no. Sorry. Oh boy. Talk about nada. Run it up, turbo. Ooh, Amazon getting a little slippy. Nvidia still holding on its sell move. Remember the resistance we talked about over under a while back there on good old Nvidia, which basically suggests that's the breakdown, and there's your sell move. So again, there's kind of mapped off that bearish selling trend there for you as a volume perspective on Nvidia. I think Apple has one too. Let me just double check. I mean, kind of. It's not the best, but yeah, we'll talk about this guy here. It's basically, yeah, it's all right. It's decent, but it's like that pretty much. Let's double check Nvidia and then Google. All right, 30-minute Microsoft. So let's see. Amazon's just starting a bit. Amazon started on a sell kind of op, like basically here / here. So as long as Amazon is below that, it's obviously trading bearish, especially for volume. So that kind of means Meta, nah. Lily, 30-minute, Tesla, was it Tesla? Or maybe it was Netflix. Netflix is the other one that just started not too long ago. We'll see about this guy. So again, you know, just a little bit ago, and if you look at this chart, right, you can kind of get a feel for it, right? You can kind of see where, you can kind of see like right here, you kind of have an inverse head and shoulders, which breaks up over the uptrend downtrend level, which is right here. So you get your inverse head and shoulders, break out over your uptrend downtrend level, then you come back down and you break back into a downtrend here, and now you're down, right? So, nonetheless, yeah, that's that. What else we got here? AMD might have just recently. No. I was right. We're looking at PG. Not enough activity yet there. Not enough slippy. Oh wait, 232. That's right. So we got a new, excuse me, we got a new 30-minute candle there on the SPY, which not looking the best right now. You got a close below, and now you got a doji below, over under 30-minute level. You kind of really need the market to reclaim this area around. Well, you don't need it to do anything actually, but that would be a decent thing for longs to kind of pick back up. But until then, the VIX is still holding below the 5-minute trend. Nothing crazy there. All pretty casual stuff, I guess. So, again, we have Mr. Crypto Rover here talking about Bitcoin is pumping hard. And that was pretty much right as, Bitcoin was coming up into the 56,600 target. All right, so it's basically pumping hard. Now is the, so again, this post here is obviously pretty mainstream with 25,900 views. We are so back, baby. Yeah, baby. So back as we pump into some resistance. So again, these are things that I pay attention to and I'm mindful of in the interim is what is the, what is the sentiment on Twitter, things like that. And right now it's Mr. Crypto Rover, 56,297, pumping hard. Ready to pump. Spuff, the magic dragon. What is all this? Yes, all this goodness. Send it higher, baby. Send it. Let's go. Pump it. So again, you're getting some pretty active mainstream accounts across Twitter pumping it at 26,000 views and counting. Alrighty. Hopefully that leads the pump. I don't know. We'll see. So again, like that's kind of, when I look at things like that, it's like we got 26,000 people being told to pump it. We got T1 here, we got T2 there. So arguably that crowd may help us get the T2, maybe. Or they're, maybe we're going to pull them back a bit, vice versa, either or. But, I was looking at Crypto Rover's account this morning. I was trying to look for some price targets he may have been able to give us, but wasn't able to find any, unfortunately. So kind of had to do some research this morning. Do. Amazon still trading bearishly below its key volume trend since its breakdown midday. Nvidia still trading bearish below its key volume trend on the intra since it's retest and kind of break. Same thing with Apple. Again, that doesn't mean that they're not going to have bottom bounces and things like that. Just highlighting on the excuse me, the immediate that some of those trends are currently downsided right now. You know what? I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get a little bit of food here, and I will be right back. So, yeah. Where is my freaking? There it is. Or not. There we go. Okay. Actually, kind of curious what some of the big name guys did today. Or big name guys, not big name guys, sorry. Some of the penny stocks. I guess we'll run through that because they pretty much covered a bunch of other stuff. So kind of just curious, see what some of these biggest gainers look like there. Might be fun. Been in that scene for a hot minute. All right. Yeah, it looks like they pulled algorithms on the bio sector today. Therapeutics, JBDI. That's interesting. That's interesting. Upgrade CLS. Funny. Bitcoin chilling. Yeah, I think we've hit a pretty good amount today. Decent stream. As I got the picture, looks like Nvidia is gonna be. Yep. Okay. So again, we've kind of been lower low, lower high. Now we're back testing the key volume trend. So this is where obviously shorts are getting put on tilt a little bit. And what was I gonna say? The best case scenario right now for the longs on Nvidia. Let's just double check the market too. Market's holding okay. We'll see about that. But yeah, I was gonna say some of these the 1 minute kind of short trend right now on Nvidia is getting tested right now. So you're putting the bears on edge for the moment. But again, that is still the trend for the moment. So yeah, it's gonna kind of walk through a couple more things here, and then I'll probably be calling it a day. Ooh, Apple. Apple could arguably be kickstarting along back to there, but it's still a little sketchy. Anyways, late day stuff. No real big plans at this moment for anybody. So yeah, I guess what we'll do is just call it a day there. That was fun. Little afternoon session. Like I said, don't really plan to be on in the mornings for the moment, just because can't, you know. But other than that, I'll catch you guys back. CPI, yeah, CPI, PPI, GPI, all that good jazz. Actually, yeah, we could. Actually, I'm kind of curious. I haven't really paid attention. I don't even care. But yes, any economic data, we're always paying attention to. If the market is still in a selling operation when CPI comes, again, you know, do what you may, but we'll see what it comes out that day. But again, if we're in a sell operation, I expect CPI to be used in a negative manner. If we are in a buy op, I expect to be used in a buy op. And so on and so forth. But yeah, I'll catch you guys back on next stream. Cheers.